mind wandering, self-doubt. All right, so we have mind wandering and self-doubt so far. And then if anybody thinks of anything else, um, feel free to chime in. Um, so, what is it about? And you guys can just continue to type in if you feel more comfortable that way. But what is it about mind wandering and self-doubt? Could you guys explain a little bit more?
Yeah, I can elaborate on mind wandering. I just I get into this space and I struggle to get to stillness, and I get thinking about all the to-dos, and then I feel like I'm trying to force something to happen. It just doesn't feel like it flows very natural. So then I start thinking, well, am I doing all the steps right? And maybe it's not so much even mind wandering, but it's just like lack of focus. And I'm not settling into a groove.
Yeah, I think that's totally understandable. Um, so I guess I could say things, but I I so I teach another class. I teach a class called Seeking the Face of the Lord. And one of the things that I like to do in the Seeking the Face of the Lord class is every once in a while I will pose a question or something along those lines. And then I will have people break off and search the scriptures for like 10, 15, like 5 to 10 minutes, and then come back. And then we read those together as a group. So, what I'm feeling to do is do a similar thing. Um, so, we have self doubt and we have um, a wandering mind, struggling to concentrate. And then we have I too am afraid to even try because I feel like I have to be better or to be worthy of the experience. I believe it can happen for me, but always sometime in the future. That's a great one. Um, so what I want to do real quick is with those comments in mind, I would like to break off just for 5, 10 minutes and find something in the scriptures that corresponds to these experiences because it's great if I can sit here and talk about that, but I feel like it's better when the Spirit teaches us. So I'd like us to break off and then come back together. Um, just give a thumbs up or like raise your hand when you're done. Let's find scriptures that correspond to those three comments, and then we'll come back when everybody's raised their hands. Sound good? Right. We have posted a couple of questions we have on waywalking in the comment section and are going through the scriptures trying to find answers to those questions. And we'll come back in a few minutes.
My phone has a little.
Hey, Laura, we are going through the scriptures trying to find answers to the struggles that people are having with trying to waywalk. There were a couple of problems posted in the comment section. So we're just doing that right now.
Okay, thank you. I know I'm late and it might be redundant, but can you guys catch me up on what some of the pe struggles are that people are having with waywalking?
Okay, so we have a wandering mind. So like the inability to sit down and be able to focus and letting the cares of the world um, interrupt our thoughts. We have self-doubt. And then I am afraid to even try because I feel like I have to be better or to be worthy of the experience. I believe it can happen for me, but always sometime in the future. And in addition to that, if anybody joining has any struggles that they'd like to post in the comment section for us to look up scriptures to, feel totally free to do that.
So I'm going to say it out loud and then I'll also post it in the comment section. I've had people come to me with concerns about um, interference from darkness while way walking. Um, because in one of my videos, I compared it to being in the astral plane, which, in my understanding, it's basically the same thing. And then I had someone come and say, "Don't ever go to the astral plane. It's too like, uh, I guess, infiltrated by darkness." And my experience is it's the same thing. So I guess I could put that one in there. I have my own answer, but I'll go ahead and put that in.
That's a great one. Give like 3 more minutes and then we'll come back. All right. I think that gives us enough time for everybody who hopped on. Um, Is there anybody that would like to share some of the things that they found and their thoughts? I can share mine. So I went to the Birkenhold tablets because there's a story in here of somebody who we basically see her start off like scared to be in the presence of the Lord. And then as the scene works on, she grows in confidence. And there's one thing that I really like in here that stands out. So I won't read the whole thing because it's a little bit long, but I'll just read bits and pieces. So starts off and she went and kneeled before her creator. And so it was that Phuneraz, or the Lord, said, Arise, Thessessa, a Scythian name, and I give you a new name, even the name of our first mother, which is Amala, which is righteousness in me. For you shall be as a mother and a caretaker unto this people. See to it that they always walk in the proper way, Seder. And Amalo wept before her creator and pleaded with him, asking, Aesir, Lord, how is it done? For I was wicked and full of hatred and lust. And Thunareth said, It is done by the sacrifice which I made in the great garden of life, and upon the tree which is life everlasting. For I have hung there and was perished for 3 days. And on the morning of the third day arose, taking upon myself the form which you see now. For I am made perfect in the All Father and All Mother, and I am in them, and they are in me. Thus it is that your transgressions have been forgiven you. So it was that Phuneraz, eye of thunder and storms, creator of all, reached down, taking Amalo by the hand, and rose her up. And as he did this, she beheld a multitude of scars upon his body. And then we'll skip. So he takes her and tenderly raises her up. But later, after she finds out what exactly happened to the Lord and how he died, she falls down again. And again, Amalo fell to her knees, weeping, for she knew that she had caused an Aesir, or a lord, a god, to bleed and die. Nevertheless, Thunaraz commanded her to stand, and as she did, she grew in confidence and stood before her maker with zeal in her eyes. So what stands out to me about that is um, at first the Lord helps her stand up and helps give her confidence. And then later, he basically has or asks her to have confidence in herself. She has confidence in him when he helps her. And then she falls again, and he has her have confidence in herself and her ability to stand. And I really like that. I I think that's totally what um, totally what way walking is. Like the Lord has helped us throughout our whole lives, and then we have to have confidence in ourselves and our ability to do this and our ability to stand on our own. But that's just my thoughts.
I really like that. Is it okay if I weigh in not from the scriptures?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this made me think of, right, we create through our faith, right? We do these things through our faith. And so that's part of the confidence, right? Know that you can, and have a genuine desire to do it. Um, I would say be persistent though, because sometimes when we have faith in something, it doesn't come as quickly as we might want it to. And so we may fall down, right? We may think we might give up and say, oh, I can't do it. But also know that people receive God in so many different ways. Some people may get visuals, some people may hear word, may receive words, some people might just receive a knowing inside their chest. And so don't be discouraged if it's not coming in the way that you think that it ought to. It may be coming in a way that's tailored just for you and your skills and your ability, your special gifts. And have confidence, have faith, and be persistent and wait on the Lord because things happen according to the right timing coming from a divine place.
So there was a comment from Deanne. My struggle is that I've tried and it didn't work. Um, and what I have to say to that is, and I know that this is probably going to be a little contrarian, but great. That's awesome because every single time, at least this is my experience, every single time that it doesn't happen, but we continually push forward, that's adding to our faith. Like the Lord doesn't give us these things right as soon as we want them. He gives it to us when we need, just like Laura was saying. And so sometimes these things take years, but it's the persistent drive to, even though this isn't working now, even though I can't break through this wall, like, oh, I'm not seeing angels, this isn't happening. The more we um, go, okay, I get that that didn't happen this time. I'm just going to push forward and continue in faith. That builds our faith, and it is line upon line. And so the next time you sit down and try to meditate and way walk and it doesn't work, and you get up, you continue forward again, another line, another little bit of faith built. And then you just keep going and going. And then when it does happen, you'll look back at all those experiences. And this is at least in my experience, but you'll be grateful that those didn't happen when maybe you wanted it to happen because like it built your faith in ways you couldn't explain, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. And I have kind of sensed that too, because I continue to try.
I think there are great benefits that come from trying. I mean, just being still, meditation in general, checking in with Heavenly Father, with your spirit, and feeling those quiet and sensitive things, those promptings and feelings going on inside of you. All of that has immediate payoff. So none of it is a waste of time if you try and you feel like things didn't happen the way you wanted them to.
I would also like to add that this is a skill. Like being able to do this is a skill, and it does take time to learn how to do it. Like being able to visualize things. I'm a very visual person. I like to be able to see what I'm doing on the other side, stuff like that. And what the Lord had me do is even before I knew about any of this, I couldn't fall asleep. And I think I've told this story before, so if you guys have heard this story before, I apologize. But I couldn't fall asleep as a kid. And so what the Lord taught me to do is just play movies in my mind, like anything. And I was always a character, and I did this for years and years. And what it did was it trained me how to see in my mind. And that's why I couldn't fall asleep as a kid. The Lord was training me. And so these things are a skill. And so just like any other skill, I don't think we should get discouraged if we can't do it as well as we would like, because it takes training and it takes time and dedication and diligence.
I think these comments are really helpful for me because it just means that if I try it and I fail, it's not like it's the end of the world. It's like the beginning.
So some of you may know who I am and that I what I put on my YouTube channel. I hear God in word and receive visuals as well. But I remember years ago when I first read the book Visions of Glory, and the idea was there that in the main character that he was able to like receive really clear instruction and hear the voice of the Lord. And I thought, man, that would be amazing. Like, what would that even be like? I couldn't comprehend it, couldn't fathom it. Um, but through persistence and constant meditation and checking in and connecting with God and learning how to hear his voice, like it just happened. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, that seemed impossible to me before. And now it's just my daily reality.
Okay, so um, let's go to Laura's comment. Fear of interference from the adversary or demonic entities. So one of the things I would personally say about this is, unfortunately, it's just going to happen. If you do everything right, it's going to happen. And part of the reason that that's just going to happen is because the Lord needs to test us and to train us. And like I do not know a single person who has come into the presence of the Lord who has not had to deal with demons in some way or another. Um, it just happened. Like think Joseph Smith when he was having the first vision. Um, the first thing that happened was the adversary attacked him. Same thing with Moses. As soon as he comes from off the way, the adversary attacks him. It just happens. And so, one of the things I would say is fear is of the adversary. And so, if we fear those interactions, then that's going to basically play into the hands of the adversary. That's exactly what he wants. He wants us to fear those interactions. Um, but if we have faith in those interactions, recognizing that they're going to happen, and just trust that the Lord has us, then we'll be able to deal with those situations when they happen. Another thing is that there are techniques to mitigate this. One of those techniques is one of the easiest is calling down angels. When you ask the Lord to send down angels, they clear out the room, then those demons are gone. And you can feel the angels come down and clean the room. Essentially, what I say when I do this is basically just I call down angels from on high to cleanse and remove all the unclean spirits in this place, and to stand as guards and sentinels that no demon or devil will enter here. It doesn't have to be so wordy. It can be whatever you feel to say, but that's one of the easiest. There are other ways too, but I don't know if anybody else wants to weigh in on that.
I have so much that I want to say. um, One thing is you can also cast out in the name of Jesus Christ. And I was given a casting out right in the beginning. with very specific wording, which it does not have to be this specific. But essentially, I'll just give the idea. You arm to the square, you cast out in the name of Jesus Christ, you command them to leave. And then you also set parameters that they are not allowed to connect with you again and come back to you, and you cast them away. You can cast them to the pits, or you can say that they may be like escorted to their perfect place, just wherever it is that they really belong. But it does matter to set those parameters, otherwise they come back. But here's the biggest thing that helped me out. Whenever I experienced an attack, it taught me something about myself, because these attacks reveal to you what your vulnerabilities are. And these vulnerabilities, that's a hard word to say, are not flaws or ways that you're wrong or broken or whatever necessarily. It is where you are lacking self-love, and therefore you haven't set an appropriate boundary. That's really what it was for me. And yes, obviously sin and other things. Doubt brought in a lot of adversarial interference. Fear brought in interference. And so when I stopped fearing, when I stopped doubt, well, sometimes I still even doubt, but for the most part, when I stopped doubting, and when I learned to set boundaries against any kind of abuse, I will not be abused this way. When I stopped having curiosity about the demonic entities and what they were doing, because at first I was very like, what is happening and what are they saying to me? And I couldn't like take my mind off of it. So you cast them away from your mind completely. I have no interest in what they're doing and what they're saying. And over time, you end up setting strong boundaries, calling in the light, calling in angels, casting out, paying attention to your heart light, the light that is within you, that is a light of Christ. Focus on it, grow it. And imagination is creation. And so you can create things like force field, boundaries. At one point, I was handed a sword, a flaming sword, and I would use my sword to fight off the entities. But over time, this became less and less of a problem because I began to set stronger boundaries out of self-love, to the point where I rarely ever have interference from them now. It's usually only if I'm thinking about or inquiring about dark things, which is not a sin. It's not wrong to do. It's just that if you're asking about them, they tend to know it and come in. And I'm very sensitive to that. And so I have very little problems with interference now. And it really comes from love and boundary setting.
Thank you for sharing that, Laura. That's really helpful. Appreciate it.
I would like to add, so one of the ones for me early on, one of those things that, just like she was talking about, one of those things I needed to work through was overconfidence. Like I did a really dumb thing, story time. So this was when I was translating Lehi. I I don't know if I did this before I went to bed, but I, like an idiot, said, oh, well, it's not that hard to discern a dark spirit from a light spirit. Don't ever do this. Because the very next time I tried to translate, I had an experience, and the Lord basically told me, Yeah, it's not as easy as you were thinking. I and it was basically just like let's be a little bit more careful with our words. I was like, okay, fair enough. So yeah, that thing of them revealing things you need to work through is totally true.
What do you guys think about the handshake kind of thing that's in D&C? I don't know that I fully understand it or know how that would work.
Okay, so I do this all the time. It is super useful, actually. So you do, how do I phrase this? So when you cross over to the other side of the veil and you see, we'll just say I'm interacting with the Lord, okay? I would reach out my hand and he would then take my hand and shake it. And so I have done this where I reached out my hand physically and I felt a pressure in the palm of my hand. It's also represented as tingling, but I have also grown accustomed to not doing it physically and just doing it spiritually. And sometimes I do still feel a pressure in my hand, or a tingling, but I will, it's more like a knowledge, really, than anything else. Like as soon as you make connection, like you just know that you've touched him. Um, and sometimes it'll even be so powerful that it'll um, like I don't know if shock my mind's the right word, but um, you'll just know. Alternatively, just like what it says in D&C, when you are interacting with somebody who does not have a body, or this even counts for somebody who does have a body or and is way walking themselves, like when you're interacting with the spirit of the Lord, um, you'll reach out your hand and he'll be like, nope, we're way walking together essentially. And he will specifically say, like, I'm not reaching out my hand to shake your hand. And that will happen. They will specifically say, like, I'm not bodied, I can't shake your hand. Um, I have had interactions with demons where I reached out my hand to shake theirs and they just laughed at me. They had no interest in deceiving me. They just thought I was an idiot. Um, and so I wouldn't say it's necessarily quite as black and white. It's obviously, there's varying levels of experience. But yeah, like I said, I have had them laugh at me and basically call me a moron for even trying, which you obviously know is a demon. So yeah, I don't know if that helps or if anybody has any other comments in that regard, but that's just been my experience.
Okay, I do have some more comments. One is to be fearless because we do get a reflection back in the universe. So if I'm going in with fear, I'm way more likely to experience reasons to have fear. The other one is setting intention for what you're doing. That's really helpful. Like Kaden said, it not necessarily 100%, but it's tremendously helpful. So if you are going into the spirit, way walking, and you have vibed up, so you've done some kind of clearing or meditation or listening to holy music or something to help your vibration go up, and you have set the intention that you're going to use this as service to others. You're going to use it for good. And by the way, service to others also means you can use it to help yourself because that is still in the category of service to others because it's of the light. It is for good. So if you have set your intentions that I will use this for good and have full faith that you will use this for good, that good will come back to you. Because of that reflection back, the way the universe interacts with us, you will be able to use it for good and service to others. Have full faith and confidence in that. If you have doubts and you're afraid that you're going to be given interference, you're more likely to experience it. And the next thing is God grants us our desires, our genuine righteous desires. He gives those to us. So you can say, I desire a way to be able to discern light from dark, good entities from evil ones, or even to have them not be part of my experience at all. Let that be, or almost at all, let that be a genuine desire of yours. Pray for it. Do it with authority. Let it be done. That I find a way to discern or find a way to have these dark entities not be part of my experience anymore. And God will provide that way. It will come because that is who He is and that's what He does for us. Have full faith and confidence in that, and it will happen.
I will definitely echo what Laura just said. If you go in with fear in your heart, then even if you come into, I've had experiences where I came into the presence of the Lord or other angels or even the Elohim, and it wasn't that I was coming into the presence of a demon, obviously, but I had fear in my heart, and so the experience was not strong. The connection wasn't there. And they told me they're like, you have fear in your heart that you need to work through. And there was actually, this was not too long ago, actually. There was a long time where I had fear in my heart, just about way walking in general. And I struggled to come upon the way and come into the presence of the Lord and things like this. And like even when it would happen, it wasn't as strong. And because it wasn't as strong, I'd then fear more. And so it was just like this domino effect. And eventually I just had to sit myself down and do some serious inner reflection and work to be able to work through that fear. Just like the lectures on faith talk about, faith is moving forward with an expectation something's going to happen. And if you move forward with the expectation that I am going to wait walk and I'm going to come into the presence of the Lord, obviously being okay that if that doesn't happen, then you're not going to get all down on yourself. Just being patient with it and not fearing, that makes everything so much better.
I do believe someone asked the question about or mentioned not feeling worthy. This ties into the comment that I wanted to make, and kind of what you were saying, Kaden. You can get into a negative feedback cycle. You can say, "Oh no, I'm going to go in fearful, and so now I'm afraid to go in." Or you're going to say, "Am I really worthy to do something like this? Can I do that? Do I have the authority to do that?" And then you're going to hesitate to go in, or whatever it may be. Here's the thing. You are imperfect. I am imperfect. We are all imperfect, and we all have things that we can improve on. So go in with your imperfections. What if you encounter a demon? What if they laugh at you? What if you experience a demonic attack? Oh, well, guess what? You've had a new experience and you've grown in it, and it has taught you something about yourself. What if you go in fearful? That's okay. You will have an experience that will eventually, especially if it is your desire, if you say in your heart, Father, Let me work through these things so that I will be able to receive in the highest way I can. Let me be persistent and let it work out for me. In the end, that will come to you. You will be given according to your faith and according to your desires. So, in full knowledge of your imperfections, go in, give it a try, see what happens. And having this attitude in the first place will help you not have fear. And it will help you know that you really are worthy. Let me address that. You are worthy. There is nothing that says you can't. Just because some people are given wasted keys on this earth does not make you less capable of accessing the powers of heaven. That is a truth. Those who have been given keys on this earth do not take your power away unless you say that they do, and you don't try. The power is intrinsic in you. You are a son or a daughter of God, and that heritage is yours. Connect with Him. He is waiting to pour out His light and truth upon you. Open up and let it in, receive it, ask for it. You are worthy. All of us are imperfect. Where is the cutoff? Say that you will use it for good, and you are ready to go.
Thank
All
you.
right.
I was just also wondering, what kind of things do you do to raise your vibration before you start? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I just read your comment. That's a great question. So, one of the things that I do is, before I part the veil, um, the Lord has me do the sacrament. Just like the Nemenhah Record talks about, when the Lord gives you permission, anybody can do the sacrament. And so I do the sacrament before I do it. I like to sing. I have I think it's like a 1940s hymn book that I carry around with me. It was my grandpa's, so it's got sentimental value. But I will just sing. Um, let's see. There are breathing techniques that can be done. Um, I mean, yeah, there's any number of things. Dancing, even just sitting down for a bit and clearing your head. When I'm not in my dorm, like to burn incense. Uh, I like to eat honey. Honey is a good one, actually. I know that sounds kind of weird, but honey's a great food. Um, that's a good one for raising vibration beforehand. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Those are just some thoughts. If anybody would like me to expand on a couple of those or whatever.
I can go over just a little meditation that I learned, just as an example. Obviously, there are so many ways that you can vibe up. I even, this is going to sound weird, but I even did a shamanic workshop, which God sent me to help me figure out how to work with this new opening of the veil that I was dealing with and all the attacks. And it helped me tremendously. And in that workshop, Kaden, you said dancing. She did drumming and dancing. And surprisingly, it really helped me vibe up. For some people, it was too weird and uncomfortable, and so it didn't help them. But for me, I was like, actually, this feels tremendous. This feels so good. Um, but one of the meditations that I learned is to close my eyes, and if I have negative feelings and emotions in me, it begins with a breathing technique. I visualize a light. And you can say this is the light of Christ. Of course, all light is the light of Christ. And so I visualize a light and I breathe in that light with every breath. And every time I exhale, I imagine I am exhaling my negative emotions. And I do that continually. I breathe in the light and exhale the anxiety or any other feeling I might be having that's negative. And I do it. It's like a cycle until I feel it leave my body. And once it has left my body, and I do feel it go, once it's left my body, I imagine it that I am breathing in the light and the light is cycling through me. It's coming out of me as well, like a cycle, in and out. And so that I'm filling up with light and I'm filling my space with light. Another visualization is feel your heart light. So around your heart is a light, and that light is love, and they are synonymous. And feel it, feel the boundaries of that light. Where is it? How big is it? Now expand that light. Imagine it growing larger, big enough to engulf your whole body. Feel the edges of it. Now imagine it growing even larger. Try to fill the entire room. How big can you grow that light? And of course, imagination is creation in the astral realm or in way walking. And so that really helps clear out the negativity and darkness. So those are two exercises you can do.
That sounds remarkably similar to one of the meditations that I was taught. I'll share this one. This one's it's fairly similar. It's slightly different. Essentially, you sit down and just imagine all your exterior problems. So this would be work, the car is broken down, anything outside of you, and this will help for stillness too. Anything outside of you that you don't really have control of. Imagine that this is just a vortex spinning around you. And I like to represent it as leaves. So I just see all of these leaves spinning around me. The breathing technique is triangle breathing. So you breathe in, doesn't matter how long, but as you breathe in, you're taking power away from that vortex and things slow down. And then you hold it, and as you're holding it, everything's frozen. And then as you breathe out, like things start dropping. And then the vortex starts spinning again. And then you do that over and over and over again until, and don't force anything, but you do that over and over again until everything's settled on the ground. And once you do that, you then switch inwards. And then all of your internal problems, I like to represent it as sand. You imagine yourself as basically a hollow vessel, and all of your problems are bouncing around inside of you. Same exact thing. You breathe in, and as you breathe in, you're taking power away from the vortex, and everything slows down. You hold it, and then as you start breathing out, things drop. Again, same thing. You do that until everything's dropped. And now at this point, you ask the Lord to bring down light, and you'll see an orb come down in front of you, or maybe fire, whatever represents the light of the Lord. And then you work backwards. You then breathe in, but as you're breathing in, you are breathing in this light, and it fills you and starts to burn away those problems that had settled to the floor. And you do that until your entire body's filled with light. And then you do the exact same thing for the outside. You breathe in this light. Same thing, you keep doing this until the entire room is filled with light. And it's a super good way to calm yourself down. It's a super good way to not get distracted. And at the same time, you can make constructs with this light, like vibration channelers, towers, whatever. I like to make a portal with mine that I then look up, and there's a circle above me that I then go through, and that takes me to the way.
One more suggestion: read your scriptures, read the Word of God. As soon as you do, your vibration goes right up, or at least that's what happens with me. God likes to talk to me a lot when I crack open my scriptures.
All right. Do we have any other comments or questions? If not, I think we can call it. Sorry again for the late start. Thanks for bearing with the technological issues at the beginning. And I think that meeting turned out really well. Thank you guys for your participation.
Thank you.